Olá, estamos no ar com mais um Enzima Live Show, o nosso programa bissemanal aqui no canal da Pluri, onde a gente fala sobre inovação, tecnologia, mundo digital, startups, esportes eletrônicos, enfim, todos esses assuntos que a gente tanto ama, sempre recebendo profissionais relevantes das indústrias do esporte e do entretenimento para abrilhantar as nossas conversas. Antes de apresentar os nossos dois convidados especialíssimos de hoje, só lembrar a vocês que essas nossas conversas viram podcasts, então se por um acaso vocês preferirem, podem ouvir também no Spotify, no Deezer e no Google Podcasts. Como eu falei, dois convidados especialíssimos de hoje, Konstantin Sonkin e Ashley Rose, respectivamente CEO e gerente de marketing da i-BrainTech, Tech, uma empresa lá de Israel que desenvolveu uma tecnologia para treinamento cerebral de atletas com o objetivo de aumentar a performance. Hoje a neurociência é parte cada vez mais importante no esporte e eles vieram aqui contar para a gente sobre a empresa, como funciona a tecnologia, visão de futuro e muito mais. So, first of all, Konstantin and Ashley, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Welcome to Enzima.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure and honor.
So I would like to start asking you both to tell us a little bit about your career before i-BrainTech, Tech, please.
I'm a neuroscientist and entrepreneur. That's my passion, and that's what makes my life meaningful. And I try to connect the dots. I used to be academics. I used to lead the AI lab in Tel Aviv University in the very novel Center for Innovations in Brain Science on a mission to bridge the gap between academy and industry. That was my journey, and I'm happy to continue that in i-BrainTech technologies.
What about you, Ashley?
So I'm initially from Canada. I had a couple different business roles there, strategy, operations, and marketing. And I came to Tel Aviv a year ago to do my MBA at Tel Aviv University. It's an MBA in global entrepreneurship and innovation. And that's where I met Konstantin and Yoel Feldman, who is the head of our business development. The program really has this vision of connecting people with all different backgrounds and experiences. So we have a neuroscientist, a sales guru, a business professional, and we just got together and started working with them shortly after.
That is really cool. So explain to those who don't know, what is i-BrainTech Tech and what do you do, please?
i-BrainTech Technologies develops brain training technology for athletes to improve their performance in sports. The solution is a video game that you play with your mind only. You control actions of the avatar by simply imagining sport-specific actions in all details. During such visualization, we call it visualization training, your brain does the same work as if you're getting ready to execute movement on the field. And by repeatedly imagining specific actions and seeing results of your efforts on the screen, a player activates and then trains areas of the brain that control movements. This makes actions in the field more efficient and accurate. And I need to add here that i-BrainTech not only leads to enhanced performance on the field, but also it provides coaches with unique brain insights to better understand and manage their players. We are on a mission to bring brain data analytics into the sports.
That is really cool. Konstantin, where the idea to start the company came from?
We have deep knowledge and long journey on trying to apply artificial intelligence to decode real intelligence, real brain performance and brain functions. Brain is fascinating. Around 40 years ago, brain organization inspired artificial intelligence and made possible all that technological advancements that we have now. I think that's time to give back to apply AI to understand better the brain, because our knowledge and our understanding is very much limited. And this is where we started our journey in research and academia, and then continued in iBrain. We focus on specific function of the brain, a function of motor control. And in this journey, in academia, we've focused on a population who lost ability to move due to brain impairments. I'm talking about stroke victims, traumatic brain injury survivors, and as well individuals with cerebral palsy, paralyzed people due to impairments in their brain. And in academia, we researched and developed a technology for enhanced rehabilitation of these individuals so they can regain control over movements faster, so we will be more independent and successful in their lives after lesion. And we continued that in iBrain, focusing on the same area of the brain and the same function of the brain, but for very different individuals, not individuals who lost ability to move, but rather who move perfectly, but who wants to bring this ability to the maximum. And of course, I'm talking about athletes.
Perfect. And Ashley, you mentioned that you met Konstantin during the MBA. How did you get involved with the company? Was it during that MBA period? Was it after it? Tell us a little bit about it.
So yeah, the program offers a really good way of letting us kind of get into the real world and join companies early on. So they offer this program where you can do an internship and you get a credit for it. So I was lucky enough to work with Konstantin as an internship. I got a credit for it for a couple months, and then there was chemistry. We really liked working together, and it continued to a full-time job.
That's great. That's great. And so talking about the technology now, could you explain how the technology works, please?
Sure, with pleasure. So let us be specific. First of all, to work with the brain, we need to record or sense information coming from it. And our brain works on electricity. That's why we can sense electrical signals from the surface of the head. For that reason, the athlete puts on an EEG cap that reads brain activity, and a person plays a video game by imagining movements. The coach or the player selects game elements they want to work on, and the video game guides the athlete on what action to imagine. For instance, a corner kick, free kick, long pass, short pass with moving mates from the team and defensive teams members. The athlete has then 8 seconds to imagine and execute the action in all details, only in his visualization, only in his imaginary training. And then the EEG cap detects their parameters of his imagination, and depending on his ability to efficiently activate his brain areas responsible for motor control, the avatar on the screen will either score, miss, or a goalie will save the ball. So you control movements and actions of the avatar with your brain intentions only. And when you have that solution with real-time feedback, so you try to visualize that and you have immediate response. Was it good or bad activation of the brain areas, and where you can improve? That creates a feedback learning cycle. You try, you see an error, you try differently, you see success. So you try again and again in a successful manner that leads to specific activation of the brain areas, and that following with the reorganization of the brain structures. These specific areas physically grow, more and more neurons involved, more and more connections established, and that leads to improvement of the performance in the field.
That's really amazing. So you have multiple situations that a player can can be in, and they decide which one they want to improve, and that's how you start training, right?
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
intention is, I just want to add that the intention is to provide value for every player on the team. So there's different scenarios for each player so they can improve whatever is relevant to them in the game.
That's really cool. And do you have a specific period of time to work with those athletes, or does it have to be on a regular basis, like every other training session that they do?
We recommend that athletes complete 2 or 3 25-minute sessions a week. It is the most effective and efficient if this is done before real physical training on the court. Because this type of training also activates and warms up brain regions that are the most used during the field training. And the concept of brain training is similar to the concept of going to the gym, right? You go to the gym, you exercise, and specific muscles that you work on grow. But if you stop exercising, then after a while you will see degradation, right, of immense muscle that not being used for a while. The same applies to the brain. This phenomenon is called brain plasticity. You use your brain in a specific way, then this function, that area that supports this function, develops. If you don't use it, then it's reorganized, so it will be more efficient in other actions you're on now.
And imagine if a coach, if he wants if he wants his player to improve other I don't know, other situation of the game that maybe you still don't have inside of the platform. Is it possible for you to develop something specifically for a need that a coach has or a team has?
Excellent question. This is exactly where we are now. We have a set of standard drills that applies for most of teams and for most of positions, because definitely defensive players need to work more on long passes in free zones, where wingers need to work more on crossing passes, right? And strikers need to work more on shots on the goal. Nevertheless, now we are developing specific scenarios that applies to a specific organization or even tactics of a team. If you play 4-3-3 and if you play 4-4-2, it makes it all different tactically, so you can work on different drills. And we are now developing a platform so a coach could just draw scenarios that he or she wants to bring to automatic execution in his team, and that would be automatically transferred to the drills in their computer environment.
And how long does a regular training session lasts with one athlete? It's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or
25-minute sessions is the optimal amount of time.
Perfect. And Ashley, do you work with every sport, or do you work with just football?
So we currently have a product for soccer, and we've begun developing our basketball MVP. But the concept and the overall neurofeedback theory is relevant to every sport. It's scalable. So down the road, the intention is to develop this for multiple sport verticals, but soccer has been our first sport to focus on.
And if you want to work with a different sport, is it something that requires a lot of development to make the product ready for it?
So the actual technology and concept is the same. What requires changes is the gaming environment. So we actually partner with professionals in each field to help us develop it, because the way that you maximize the benefit you get from it is by being completely immersed in it, imagining yourself performing these actions in all details. So for example, with our soccer product, we partnered with professional soccer players to help us develop this gaming environment in these scenarios. So what we'll work on for future, in the future with different sports, is partnering with these professionals in the field to help us develop that gaming environment. But the actual technology and concept is the same and applicable to all.
Great. And what clients have you worked with or are working with now?
We're working with several professional teams. We're based in Israel, so definitely we work with a few Israeli clubs. In addition, in Israel, we have special institute, Wingate Institute for Sports Excellence. And recently we have signed a contract with them for a long study with their National Academy Women Football team. Together with them, so hopefully we'll publish results next year. In addition, we worked with the FC Zenit Academy Club, Russian League champions, and demonstrated very promising results in the performance development of their youth talent. And we're currently communicating with several MLS clubs in United States and in Canada, and they are at a different stage in our pipeline, but we're about to ship at least 5 systems within next few months there.
Perfect. Could you share some of those results with FC Zenit, please? Because I think it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So results in Zenit Academy Club, we focused on free kicks as the most stable and isolated action. We can quantify the impact of the training with i-BrainTech technology. And we had a team, we split them in 2 halves, and both halves continued training regularly in the field, but one half, in addition, trained twice a week with i-Brain on their brain development. And we asked them to kick 100 times before and after this period of training from different positions in the real field. We quantified the accuracy of kicks and power or speed of the ball. And after 2 months of training, the accuracy increased by 33% and ball speed increased by 35% on average in this population. The increase was very significant, both statistically and as with the naked eye. So it was obvious with the naked eye, and we reports of coaches underlined and highlighted the significant improvements in the game experience of their athletes that trained with i-BrainTech technologies.
That's really amazing. And Ashley, what is the business model of the company today?
Sorry, it's a subscription model. And so we give a certain price to an entire team. There's volume discounts if they buy in bulk, and there's also upgrades available for deeper analytics and additional features.
Great. And you are the marketing manager, and we are talking about something new that must be accepted by the old school mindset that we have in a lot of sports entities. How is the approach to possible new clients?
It's a good question. It's very challenging. We've developed 3 strategies to tackle that challenge. I would say the first one is educating people and bringing awareness to the topic and providing the scientific evidence that substantiates these concepts and the importance of brain training in sports. The second one would be demos. So we conduct quite a few demos on sport professionals and athletes. And I think when they experience firsthand the technology and the impact it has, it's very convincing. I mean, even sport professionals who aren't athletes who come in and try it, they're exhausted after, they're mentally drained because of so much brain power required. And athletes who try it are amazed by the accuracy. So for example, we had one athlete who consistently in the game would miss a shot from, I think it was the left side of the field, but it just kept happening over and over. And after he finished the brain training exercise, he said to us that in real life, in game situations, he consistently misses that shot too, meaning that the game accurately picked up on this weakness or this blind spot, which I think really convinced him of how accurate this entire gaming environment is. So that's been another effective method. And then the third one, which Konstantin touched upon, is pilots. So if we can show people the proof of concept, the statistics of how they've improved over time in only a month and a half, especially with a professional team that's already so established and strong and talented, I think that's very convincing for people too.
Great. So I have a broader question now to you both. What is the role that technology has in the sports industry today, in your opinion? Starting with Konstantin.
Yeah, sports is changing rapidly, and nowadays it is their business of media, broadcasting, technology, fan engagement. Clubs now are centers of content, of all the promotion and all the performance achievements. And more or less, most of the clubs know how to build excellent athletes. We all know strategies for nutrition, training routine, right? We all know best practices. But what makes one good athlete win while other good athletes lose? And recent research in sports science shows that the success in sports is by 90% explained by brain function. And it seems that we always knew that. We always were looking for talent in sports, meaning smart individuals in decision making, who are in a split of a second faster, more efficiently, a bit more accurate than their rivals. And now technology allows to bridge this gap and to open otherwise untapped potential from players by directly training the brain, as in our case, but in every other aspect, all data collected from players allows incredible insights about their training routine, about their performance. Like 10 years ago, Moneyball reflected the revolution in sports. And it seems that today, novel revolution is about to happen.
Perfect. What about you, Ashley? What is the...
Yeah, I totally agree. I think data is the biggest thing because it's relevant in every field, not just sports. It's evolving over time. And I think in sports specifically, all this data and analytics can help coaches manage their players on a whole new level, understand when, without them physically feeling like they're injured, understand from their analytics and their brain and everything when it's time for them to rest and avoid injury, how to optimize their players, how to capitalize on their strengths and develop strategies just based on all these analytics and data that in the past were not readily available.
Great. So we are approaching the end now. So last question. I would like to know, what is the company's vision for the next 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I know that 5 years is a long period of time, but if everything goes according to plan, where do you want to see i-BrainTech Technologies in 5 years?
We are on a mission to revolutionize sports training for all. We want to make brain training accessible for a wide population. And the way we envisage that is that in every sports outfit store, you can buy a fancy baseball cap with seamlessly incorporated brain sensors that would read information from your brain. You take your smartphone, you connect to your avatar in your sports, and you play your game, you enjoy it, and you develop your brain in addition to training your body. I think that is our big vision, and that can and have a potential to make sports much more than it is now.
That is a great vision. So, Konstantin and Ashley, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your time, for sharing your knowledge with us. Congratulations for what you've been developing. Definitely, it's very, very amazing. And I would like to give you space to send our audience a message, starting with Ashley?
Well, I think my message is we're based out of Israel, Tel Aviv, which is a startup nation. And I think what I've learned since I started this journey at Tel Aviv University with Konstantin is really anything is possible. You know, you can start with nothing, the smallest idea, and you're able to develop it and make it something revolutionary. And I think you just have to keep pushing through and be motivated and find the right people to join the journey with you.
Thank you. Konstantin?
Amazing, Ashley, totally with you. And even more than that, like hard times we are now, those times of revolution. And very often revolution leads to better edge, to novel enhancements, right? And let's make best of what we have, and remote training, novel thinking out of the box. I think this is what will make sports in general and humanity progress over time.
Thank you so much, guys. I will speak a little bit of Portuguese now, okay?
Okay.
Pessoal, então como vocês viram, incrível demais a iBrain Technologies. Tivemos aqui com a gente o Konstantin Sonkin, que é o CEO, e a Ashley Rose, que é a gerente de marketing, vieram explicar sobre essa empresa que está, com certeza, apresentando algo novo ao mercado, mas certamente isso vai ser cada vez mais comum, esse cuidado com o cérebro, né? O órgão mais importante que a gente tem e que muitas vezes a gente deixa de lado. Com certeza, ele também precisa ser treinado, especialmente quando a gente fala de atletas de alta performance. Então, tenho certeza que a iBrain Technology vai ser muito falada ainda em todo o mundo, e a gente espera que os clubes e as organizações esportivas aqui do Brasil também estejam de olho nisso, porque certamente é algo que vai acrescentar muito a eles. Antes de me despedir, só lembrar a vocês, toda terça e toda quinta, às 16 horas, aqui no canal da Pluri, temos o Enzima Live Show, onde falamos sobre inovação, tecnologia, mundo digital, startups, esportes eletrônicos, e depois essas conversas viram podcasts e vocês podem ouvir nas principais plataformas como o Spotify, o Deezer e o Google Podcasts. Muito obrigado pela audiência de vocês e até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.